welcome to the Comic and Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I am here to review BeetleJuice BeetleJuice. Don't say it a 3-time, or we're gonna have some issues. Hold up, I gotta pause. Alright, I think we're good. Anywho, this movie is an unexpected sequel. It's like, as of late, we have been getting these sequels to like classic movies. We got the Beverly Hills Cop sequel. We got these sequels to the Bad Boys movies. We've been getting sequels to movies that haven't had sequels in a very long time. We got the Top Gun sequel. Like, there's a lot of sequels to movies that have... We got a sequel to Scream after a long extended period of time. And now we got a sequel to BeetleJuice. The original BeetleJuice to the 1988 BeetleJuice. Tell you how long ago that movie came out. And the original BeetleJuice was a Tim Burton classic starring a young Winona Ryder as... Linda Deetz, and starring Michael Keaton in the role of Beetlejuice himself. That role of Beetlejuice was so amazingly interesting. It was so wacky. He was a live-action cartoon character. Keaton really played that role to perfection. It's a fascinating role. It's such a memorable role. It's very similar to Jim Carrey's Mask in the just out-of-the-wall nature of the character. Except in, Tim Burton fashion, Tim Burton has this ability to somehow make a virtually rated, R-rated, like, dark-ass, borderline R-rated content without it being R-rated. Like, particularly in BeetleJuice, the original BeetleJuice was one of the scariest kids' movies of all time. Like, that movie terrified me as a child because of the imagery and the depiction of... Because Tim Burton's depiction of the afterlife is very scary. I mean, from the simple fact that the way you die is the way you go to the afterlife. So if you go to the afterlife with your head chopped off, if someone decapitates you and you go to the afterlife, you pop up in the afterlife and you're permanently holding your head. Like, it's a very interesting thing. And there's this city in the afterlife. As we discover in this, like, we kind of heard about it in the original BeetleJuice, but as we discover in BeetleJuice, there's a whole ass afterlife city of people who are basically just waiting in line to be able to go to the afterlife. So basically it's purgatory is what it really is. You're just waiting in line to go to the afterlife. But either way, that movie was iconic. It was well known. And I don't think it set itself up for a sequel. It surely wasn't indicating it was going to have one. It kind of just happened. Like, so when we heard this was announced, it's not like we've heard Tim Burton's directed a lot of shit recently, but when this was announced, I was very surprised about it. Honestly, it was under my radar, really, because I really enjoyed the original BeetleJuice, but it's not one of those movies that I hold to such high fame that I saw a sequel and I was like, oh my god, I want to go see this. But eventually I got around to going seeing the movie, and I gotta say, with Tim Burton returning, it really does feel like that. It feels like a sequel to BeetleJuice. It's a damn good sequel. I don't think it's not better than the original BeetleJuice by any stretch of the imagination, but it takes what you know about the original BeetleJuice, expands upon it, shows more of the afterworld, introduce like things like like I said, they introduced this whole idea that there's basically a city in purgatory, where Beetlejuice is. It shows the character of Linda Deetz growing as a character. She's like kind of like using her gifts to talk to spirits, to promote herself as a psychic, and she has her own live reality show, and like she's rich, she's famous, she's a famous psychic. She's like the Ghost Hunters on steroids, basically. And she has a daughter. She's had a daughter. Her and her mom's relationship is a bit strained. And she really hasn't ever been able to truly get past the BeetleJuice thing. She's been able to kind of bottle it up, but between the BeetleJuice thing and she had lost a husband, minor spoilers, and her strained relationship with her daughter, it's really done a number on her. And unfortunately, the movie really revolves around the fact that she has to return to her old home, return to her old town in the original movie after the death of her father. And returning there ends up leading to a lot of things. Now, funny enough, there are actually some twists and turns in this movie. There are actually multiple villains in this movie. One being old Beetlejuice's ex-wife, who he had a very interesting relationship with as he, chopped her ass up into pieces. I tell you, The one thing I love about this movie is its use of both practical effects and claymation. There's an entire sequence that's a straight up claymation retelling of events. And it's very cool. It happens, and you're like, well, this is kind of a cool... I was wondering why they did it. Did they not want to get the actor? Or was it just a stylistic choice? I couldn't really make up my mind whether it was that or the other, but I think they got the actor who played her father, her stepfather in the original movie, Linda's stepfather in the original movie. I think they got him to come back, because there's someone voicing him, but I don't know. Regardless of which, there's this cool claymation sequence. There's an entire character who is just claymation. The practical effects are off the charts, man. They are just, it's just, because in this day and age, like, even when you do see good practical effects, it's usually, like, just sets, But from the outfits to the way, like, the dead people, like, I watched the movie with my friend Seth, and Seth said it exactly what I was thinking, which is, you don't have to make at least in this Afterlife, you don't have to guess how someone died. It is clear as day how they fucking died. There's a woman with a spike through her neck, and she's just walking around. There's someone who's chopped in half, and it's like a bite half, and he's got a half-bitten board. Like, it's all over the place. There's just so many spectrums of dead people down here, and they're all just going about life. And you saw that in the original BeetleJuice, but in this one, you get to explore, like I say, the purgatory world a little bit more. You get to see more of it. You get to see, they have their own police, they have their own dry cleaner, they have this thing called the Soul Train, which every time someone gets on it, they have to start dancing like they're fucking listening to some soul music, like some old school fucking like 70s soul music, like, get all on the ride, the Soul Train. It's like, that's just funny. So there's so much going on with that movie. There's so much, just interesting things going on with the afterlife of it all. And finding out more about BeetleJuice's past. You do find a tiny bit more about his past. You find out a little bit about what he was before he became Beetlejuice and how he became a demon. Like I said, you learn a little bit more about him, though. In general, BeetleJuice is really just there to be this chaotic, fucking over-the-top mastermind, which he's great in here. Michael Keaton is great in his role again. Winona Ryder is great as an older version of her character from the original movie. You can tell that time of dealing with ghosts and all this shit has kind of worn her down a bit. And BeetleJuice is he's just, like I say, Michael Keaton, it's like he just slipped into it like he never left, dude. But the most impressive thing about this movie, by far, is how far they pushed that PG-13. Oh my God. I've never seen a movie push it like this movie did. This movie had so much blood, so much guts, so much death. Oh my God. So much death. Even all the insinuations, which is how they got away with a lot, is that a lot is insinuated. And like so much sexual innuendo, so much, there's like a tiny sort of kind of sex scene, but they get away with it by having it fade off and you just see shadows of certain things, of some things happening, and you can't really tell, but we as an audience can tell what the fuck's happening. They get away with a lot, man. I swear to God, I've never seen a PG-13 movie get away with this much. I was like, how isn't this R, bro? Like, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. It was a lot, bro. It was a lot. But I digress. The movie wasn't perfect. I would say they were trying to juggle too many things at the same time. And the things didn't connect very well. Like, there's two villains who have no connections to one another, and they're both the two adversaries / villains, because the original Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice is pretty much the villain. Or Linda's parents were the villains, but I digress. The original Beetlejuice is pretty much the villain of that movie, him trying to trick her into marrying him, into freeing him, was kind of the whole thing. There really isn't like I say, Beetlejuice is technically kind of the villain of that movie if you really look at it. This movie, they have two villains. One's a secret villain, which I won't spoil. The other one's in the trailer, so you've probably seen her. But they both kind of end suddenly. Like, you think there's gonna be a whole thing, and it's just over, dude. It is over before it ever starts. Like, you wait, like, particularly the woman, Beetlejuice's ex, you wait a whole movie for them to confront each other, and it's short, and it's over within, like, 5 minutes, dude. And I knew, so I had a feeling this was gonna happen, because I looked at the time, the movie's only an hour and 44 minutes, and I was like, okay, at least I'm gonna get out of here early, but can you really do what you want to do in an hour and 44 minutes? I wondered that. And the answer to that is no. There's more that needed to be said. There's more that could have been connected. It just kind of happens. Like, the bad guys just kind of end. All of them. And there's like a minor kind of bad guy if you want to count him. Like, things just wrap up way too quickly. They wrap up too neatly. It just kind of, like I said, it just kind of ends. There's a death that's kind of just brushed off. Like, it's kind of just like, she's dead. Like, there's one of the characters from the original dies, and it's kind of just like, she's dead. It's like, that's it? That's the only reaction we're going to get from this? So, overall, the movie is a fun movie. It's a fun movie. If you're a fan of the original Beetlejuice, they did it fucking justice. Obviously, they got Tim Burton back on this, so you kind of felt like they were going to do it justice. They did it justice. It was a fun time in the theaters. It is a gory mess. Look, I'm going to just warn you right now. If you're squeamish, I don't know about to watch this movie. There's some squeamish shit. There's some shit in this movie that you're just like, oh, what the fuck? I can't believe they got away with certain. There are certain things in this movie I can't believe they got away with. Just plain and simple. But overall, enjoyed the hell out of the movie. It's a great classic. It's Tim Burton return to form. You know, it's great. The special effects are great. The claymation effects is great. The style is so Tim Burton. There's a twist character that you won't see coming. The new characters, most of the new characters work. And Winona Ryder and Winona Ryder and Michael Keaton are back in their roles, and it's like they never even left them. It's like they never even left them. And often in movies, I find, if the lead actors work, you can kind of work your way through the movie. At least for me, the lead actors work. And Ryder and Keaton are amazing in their roles as Linda Deetz and Beetlejuice. So the movie works on that level anyways. And if you're a fan of the original Beetlejuice, I can't imagine you not loving this movie. So I'd give BeetleJuice, I'd probably give it a solid 7 out of 10 for me. It doesn't do anything better than the original. And unfortunately, the way they handled the ending and the way they handled the main villains, it just kind of felt like they were two totally different things they were trying to do. They were just juggling far too much, and they didn't end up handling it very well. It was like they were juggling fucking glass balls. They were juggling like 4 glass balls, and they dropped 2 of them on the ground. But still, it still works. So I'll probably give it a 7.5. Anyways, thank you guys for joining me on Comic Game Movie Show. Please give me a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.